Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and all our viewers across the globe. It's a wonderful Tuesday evening. Welcome to Real Talk Corner, where conversation sparks change and every voice matter. I'm your host, yours truly, and with me tonight, and I can smile, is my co-host, Hadassa Charles McLeod. What's up, girl?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. How are you doing? We're almost twinning. Um, Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. It's good to be on another episode, and yeah, we're gonna have some good conversation that hopefully would spark some change.
Oh yes, definitely. There is so much happening and in Trinidad and well, more so in Trinidad. But this is what you call democracy. Everybody have a right to say what they have to say. Hopefully they do it respectfully. But when I look at the social media platform, which I don't really do, we do our program and we hopeful that people get some sense of message or of empowerment of whatever they take with it. Some people may say some negative, some say some positive, some agree, some disagree, and that's okay. That's what democracy is all about. It's just that sometimes some people say some things, I laugh, and I say, if you really don't know who you are, don't do a program, because some people could be so ridiculously disrespectful. But that's okay, because I make nothing get the better of me. I always say, I know who I am. I'm a human being, I'm a woman, and life is life. There are things you've got to have faith and believe God for. And there's somebody had said to me, but you are an apostle. How come you are, doing this program and supporting this and that? And I said, before I was an apostle, I was a woman. Before I was a woman, I was a girl child. Okay? I'm a human being. And what is wrong, and what is right. And my choice matters to me, may not matter to you or anybody else. So you all have a choice to make. You choose to listen to our program, you choose not to listen, you choose whatever. And it really doesn't matter to me as an individual, and it shouldn't to you. You choose to listen to what you want to listen, choose to comment on what you want to comment, and so on and so on. But every day I give God thanks for his breath in my lungs, and I'm grateful for life and for being here. Every day I pray for my loved ones. I pray for our Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the government. And I pray even for the opposition. You would not believe that, but I pray that they would get some sense and they would, come along and realize that they made a mess of things when they were in power, and they need to sometimes shut up, sit down, listen and learn. And that's my opinion, and that's how I feel about things. So tonight, there's a lot that we want to talk about. So much is happening in different arenas, but tonight we really want to, share on some stuff that I think is relevant for this time. Some of the things coming out of Parliament, especially when we talk about independent senator. I want to talk about that a little bit tonight, but I also want to remind Trinidad and Tobago, those of us who have common sense and those of us who are intelligent enough to see, to hear, and to know that we have a government who is working for the people, and they may not be working for the 1% or the hierarchies or whatever, but they're working for the people on the ground, the people who have suffered and is still suffering in some cases based on their mindset, because I can tell you there's much to be done, and there's so much that one can do to get themselves together and to live a better life now, because there's so much things taking place, And I say congratulations to our Prime Minister and her team. Hats off to them. They are doing a fabulous job. So all the naysayers and all those who are talking, and I like to use the word crap, let them continue to do crap and say crap, especially the leaders in the PNM. I want to say the Propaganda National Party, because that's all they are doing, propaganding, coming up against everything that our Prime Minister does. And you know the reason for that is because they didn't do what they were supposed to do for our citizens. And she is doing what is needed and what is necessary. She's making the changes in the economy in our country for the betterment of our children and our grandchildren. We all may not enjoy everything now, okay? But it is going to work out great for our children, our grandchildren, if the Lord tarry, our great-great-grand. So listen, you all can say whatever you want to say. Nothing happens overnight. It took a decade and more. Listen, PNM has been in power for more than 40 years, okay? And when you talk about NAR and the Pandey regime, and then when we were there as, oh Lord, I can't remember, it was in 2010 to 2015, the People's Partnership, and now we are here. And all we ever got, those different parties, was 5 years. They didn't get more than that. PNM has been there from inception and for a very long time. And they have done a lot of crap. They have done a lot of things to not develop this country. Now, I must be fair. They have done things that created some level of development. However, when you think about having train in our country and it being dismantled, that to me was really distasteful, was really undeveloping. You understand? Then you had the factory where we made sugar and all these things. And those things were done away by the PNM. So instead of having growth, they were always taking us back. Under the
Shrinkage,
UNC,
yeah.
and especially now with our Prime Minister, you are seeing growth. This woman is turning the economy around. And it's not so easy because we're not even here for a year and so much has been happening. I can talk about the land for the landless. There is so much things that is happening, and I would take one of the programs and itemize all of this stuff. But we don't want to get into too much of that tonight. We want to talk about the independent. I want to talk about the independent senators and their falsified statements that they're making and talking about bringing our Prime Minister before the Privilege Committee. Listen, all you need to bring all yourself before the Privilege Committee, because one, what does independent mean? You all are not independent. Independence doesn't caucus. You all are coming together. So if I am an independent senator, I am supposed to listen, do my research, do my assessment based on what is brought before me, and make decisions once it's going to work for the people. If you all are hurting and still crying because PNM lose, the truth is these independent senators were handpicked by a PNM president, because she is not even, and the whole of Trinidad and Tobago know that, she is not an independent president, okay? And you all could say whatever you want to say. That woman choose person who support, and there are evidence that these people are not independent. They have been aligned to the PNM in some way or fashion, right? And I am not putting water in my mouth to speak, and nobody could shut me up unless they come and kill me. Then I wouldn't have a voice. But as long as there's breath in my body, I will talk. And I like to believe that I am talking the truth. Okay? I would like to believe based on the facts that I have before me. So for them to talk about putting our Prime Minister before the Privilege Committee, I understand that it was shut down. And I'm happy that it was shut down today by the President, Wade Mark. I am happy that he did that. I'm proud of the President of the Senate, Mr. Wade Mark. I am totally happy about that. And you know what? People will talk, but the PNM used to do the same thing to us while we were in opposition. They would shut down anything that they feel to shut down. And in this case, it wasn't shut down because he felt to shut it down. It was nonsense. It was total crap. right? You all can come and bring the Prime Minister before the privileged committee and talk about all the independent. You all are not independent. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago knows that these senators are not independent. They follow what the propaganda national party request of them or ask them to do. So listen, I don't want to waste much more time, but I'm happy that they were shut down. And the facts is, you know what they did? They allowed the criminals to be free, to be able to. I mean, from Sunday they started, right? From Sunday we had this gruesome crime that took place where they killed someone. I think it was on Charlotte Street or somewhere in Port of Spain, where this woman was crying out, "Oh Jesus!" It was so heart-rending, but it is what it is, right? The murderers are happy. They are happy now to continue to commit their crimes. And I am saying to these criminal minded individuals, why you all don't just kill yourself and leave the citizens alone? One thing I am certain about is that our Prime Minister is fighting for the lawful citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. She intend to intent she intend with intent to ensure that the law-abiding citizens of this country is safe. Okay? And for those criminals, she has put forth some statement. She's very firm. They're going to feel the brunt of the law. So you all better get yourself together, do what is right, or kill all yourself. That's what all you have to do. Leave the citizens alone. Stop killing one another. Hadassa.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't say it any better. Who vex lost, and we have to call a spade. I am like so upset with this whole issue with the independent senators because, like you just rightly pointed out, not 3 days after this bill failed in the Senate, that we had criminals of again running in the streets and killing young black men, and that is always the issue. And my thing is, they were so happy to strike down that bill. But these independent senators, apparently, they don't live in these areas that are affected because they probably would have voted uh, differently. You know, um, these communities, these young men, it's almost like they are collateral damage that the PNM is comfortable with. They are the ones who take the fall for the real white collar criminals. And to fix those communities means that the truth will be uncovered. Who are the real people behind the scenes pulling the strings, you know? And then in true fashion, the PNM has to always make it about race because when the Prime Minister said that Afro dominated PNM is blocking help for Afro dominated communities, people want to call that racist. How is speaking the truth racist? And why everything has to be down that line? But statistics do not lie. 80 to 90% of the people who do crime in this country are of African descent. So it's either we don't like the truth or we are in a state of deep denial. And I really wanted to commend the Prime Minister that even in the face of this bill failing, that she has remained rugged, she has remained sturdy, and she released a statement on social media that I would like to read because it shows her position that she is not going to back down and that her heart and her intent is with protecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm going to read a statement now, which was released on the 31st of January. And it says, I want the gangs and those detainees released from prison to know that decent, law abiding citizens are fed up of your criminality. And I will have no hesitation in enacting another SOE if you cannot behave yourselves. You will be returned straight to prison at this time. Your friends and family who aid your criminality will accompany you. If criminals want to terrorize law abiding citizens and their families, I will do everything legally possible to terrorize criminals and their families. It's time to tip the scales in this country towards law abiding citizens. I will use every means within the law to make criminals and their friends and families' lives an absolute hell. I don't know about you, but I never heard Rowley talk to criminals like this. Your UNC government and the security services are prepared for the end of the SOE. I never cared about the tired, outdated, woke race baiting and bigoted propaganda, and I still don't. If anyone wants to mash up the place and burn down the country, go ahead. That's your democratic choice. However, anyone wanting to do this, should understand by now that I am willing to do whatever it takes to keep decent, law abiding citizens safe. So be certain that I will meet you head on. Those who commit brutality against law abiding citizens will be met with brutality from me. That's a promise. It's a reality that the combination of American assistance to secure our borders, the competent leadership of COP Alistair Guevara, and the incarceration of the persons detained under the SOE using PDOs all contributed to 257 less murders in 2025 compared to 2024. The PNM and the local drug mafia financiers erroneously believe that the higher the numbers of citizens who are murdered, raped, robbed, and terrorized, the higher would their chances be of getting back into government. They appear very angry that 257 citizens are alive today who would have been murdered if the 2024 homicide trend had continued. The local drug mafia, financiers, money laundering business fronts cannot survive without their PNM stooges manipulating economic, national security, and financial policies and institutions. The PNM government of the last 10 years operated as a narco government and enabled the murder, rape, and terrorizing of our citizens because PNM policies were crafted in pedophile lodges, restaurant backrooms, and yachts down the islands to benefit the local drug mafia financiers. Deep truths. Your UNC government is committed to brutally destroying the local drug mafia and the violent gangs that they finance. The narco influence in government affairs and policy ended with the removal of the PNM on April 28, 2025. And to that, I say that is my prime minister. That is why she has my vote of confidence. And that is why I support her, right? Because we are not claiming that Kamala Prasad Bissessar is perfect, but we can claim that she's a woman of her word and that she tries, which is all that you can expect and want from a person, right? Keith Rowley did nothing, left us like sheep to the slaughter, right? So now we have an opportunity to take our country back, and she has my full support. Back to you, Esther.
Indeed, and you said one of the words that was used. The PNM don't like to hear brutals, but the independent senator, together with the PNM MPs, they voted for criminals to continue the murder, to continue
Yeah,
the house,
in essence,
the
yes.
house invasion. That is what they voted for. And it's time that the
Yes.
people open their eyes. Now, anytime the Prime Minister talk about the criminals and the constituencies, the PNM, the Propaganda National Party will come up and talk about race. Their only trump card is race. The Prime Minister
Yes.
can't talk nothing. It's always race. Well, I'm here to say it. The areas and the people, like you said, who commit these criminal acts, 90, you say 90%, but I'm saying 95% of these people are of criminal descent, right? The people who commit these criminal acts, 95% of them is of African descent. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm an African descent person, but that is the facts. There are one or two of the Indian descent that you would see. And they, the Propaganda National Party leaders, they don't like to hear the truth. The PNM doesn't like to hear the truth. They don't acknowledge the truth. And one of the things is that they benefit from the criminal activities. They benefit from
Yes.
all the murders that take place. all the guns and the drugs. The PNM benefit from it because who are behind all of this? Who are the people that brings in the guns and the drugs? So they will never like what our prime minister have to say. They would never like the UNC government because we are going to stamp out all of that. And our prime minister was very stern on the fact that she's going to deal with these criminals. Sorry that it is of the majority of them is of African descent, and it's in the constituency of those PNM MPs who don't give one damn about the citizens because they encourage the murder, they encourage the criminal activity, they encourage it. They don't want to work for a decent dollar. They want to continue to get what they get in, how they get in. URP, CPEP, all of this is what encouraged the criminal acts to continue to grow while they were in power. But they don't want to hear the truth. So every time our prime minister opened her mouth, because she's of East Indian descent, because it's a woman, they always have something to say. But Penny needs to start opening her eyes and see and opening her ears. Come and let our prime minister lay hands on you so that you would be able to see clearly, hear clearly, and not the ones who probably put in money in your pocket. I don't know. Because it is foolishness. We don't want to acknowledge the truth. The truth is that these criminals are of African descent, majority of them. Every time our prime minister would say something, you all always have to lash back. You always have a problem. They are intimidated, one, and I want the UNC government and our prime minister to understand that don't be bothered with these clowns. They are clowns. They don't want better for our country. They don't want better for our citizens. We don't want to acknowledge the truth. All you breed a set of criminals. Whenever our prime minister talk, it is always race. But when the former prime minister spoke, it wasn't about race. It was okay. Something is wrong with you all. Go and get baptized. I thought we bury you all, but like somebody raised up all you from the dead. I don't know who it was. I'm sure it's not our prime minister. Go and get baptized now.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
something is wrong with them. Right? The independent. And the thing about this Hadassa, go ahead.
No, I said the pain. I'm like herpes. When you think you have it under control, it flare up again. It's so annoying.
Don't make me crack up here. Listen, something is wrong with these people. And the kind of question that Penny asks sometimes and the comments that she would make, I wonder if she's a little bit mental, or is she autistic?
Slow.
I ask
No,
myself the question sometimes.
let's not insult autistic people because autism just means your brain is wired differently. They are some of the most
Well, hers
intelligent
wired
people.
differently in the opposite. Something, I don't
No,
know, because,
but they are highly intelligent.
and she seems not to be. So she is the 1% that is in the opposite. You understand? Because as the leader of the opposition, I thought that she would take a little more pride in bringing some sort of intelligence. You know, even though they're in the opposition, they would have recognized that the people wasn't happy with their performance. And then she come out and she speak as though, you know, the UNC have been in power for the last decade and all this craziness is going on. But you all are the people who, the party and the government that bring this country to where it was. It was coming up. It was getting better while the UNC was, the People's Partnership was there under the leadership of our now Prime Minister again. And they just took it down to nothing. All these black men that is being killed, these African men, not black because all of us are black in this country, except for the 1% and the Syrians and whoever. But all of these African men and women that is being killed, that is killing one another, is because it's the doing of the PNM. And they don't want to acknowledge that. And it is in their constituency. When you talk about Mova and Lavantil and Diego Martin,
Yeah.
it's the PNM constituency, the one that they're supposed to empower and get the people having a different mindset. No, all of them
Yeah.
full with gun and drugs. How they get that? How these
Yeah.
poor little African children getting access to these things? Come on. And if the PNM
Yeah.
supporters, the ones who support, if you all don't love your children and love yourself, will continue to support them. But leave Let the prime minister of this country do what and she's entitled to make her statement. All you don't like it, suck it up. Because the truth is, it is the Africans' majority of the crime. The tedious, crazy crime is the African people. The white crime is the white collar people. You understand? Because they are the ones who have the money and they are the ones who pay and bribe and do what they have to do. Right? If we don't know that by now, I don't know when we would be, be intelligent enough to understand that. Who is bringing in the drugs? Who is bringing in the guns? Tell me, these little black boys, these little African boys don't have money to do that until they get themselves involved and then they could get money to bling because they love to bling because they don't know better. They really don't know better. I actually feel sorry for these, African people, children, even some of them mothers, they're young, they get themselves tied up and entangled in the P&M cult. It is sad. But we need to get real. And until we get real, speaking to my African people, until you all get real and come together, I've said this over and over before, until we come together and acknowledge that we need help and we come together and unite, we will keep losing our children. We will keep losing our grandchildren. We will not have any legacy left. And then they want to talk about the Indians and the coolie and all this nonsense. I heard somebody said before the African was the greater population, but now the Indians are growing more. Yes, well, they have to because they're not doing the foolishness that you all are doing. They're not listening to foolish people like our previous prime ministers who talk this certain nonsense about all you had to eat dashing and yam provision and who say you can't eat macaroni pie and callaloo. They want all you to eat filth and all you settling for it. Smell them and settle for it. What I really want to say here, I can't say it. Because you know what, Hadassa? If some people saying they didn't know I was a preacher. Well, yes, I am an ordained minister of the gospel. But I speak the truth. I speak it as it is. And who don't like it? Suck it up. Find a way. All you can do me nothing. I am ordained by God to speak the truth. And I am speaking the truth even about the government that is in power right now. And you people, you propaganda, national movement leaders, you all need to get all your act together. Get all your act together or else we will continue to be by the side. And listen, we're moving on, this government is doing what has to be done. Our prime minister is doing what has to be done. She is serious and stern about dealing with criminals because she intends to allow the law-abiding citizen to reap the benefit of their hard labor in this country. We cannot have law-abiding citizens working hard and committing themselves to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. And then when they reach a certain age to retire, they can't enjoy the fruit of their labor. She intends to ensure that you criminals pay the price. And I'm telling you all, it's either all you buck up under this woman here, this honorable woman, or you kill all yourself, because she's coming for you all. She's not going to allow you all to have law-abiding citizens uneasy in their own home and uneasy in their communities. They can't walk, they can't enjoy the fruit of their labor. So all you back up, forget the PNM and them and the foolishness, because let me tell all you something, when they were in power, they didn't care about you all. What they did is put you all in a position to fill their pockets, right? And now that they are in the opposition, they're coming out and having a voice. Like I said, the prime minister laid hands on them so that they now can talk, they now can see. She prophesied over them that things is getting better. Change is coming. The wind of change is blowing. So now they're uneasy because you know why? They don't want you all to succeed. They don't want the African people to succeed and to enjoy the fruit of their labor. They want all you to continue doing what you all are doing and killing yourself. Before you reach 30, most of you, 30, 40, you're all dead. You can't enjoy nothing in this life. That is what you all want. All you check all yourself. I make no apologies for my Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Just remember, she is the Prime Minister of every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. So she is entitled to say that she is here to protect the law-abiding citizens, and she's entitled to ensure that pressure be put under those who are not law-abiding and want to continue the criminal activity. She's going to deal with you all. She's going to put things in place to deal with you all. So buck up. And for the PNM, the propaganda national party leaders, all you continue to say what you have to say. Go ahead. That is not moving her. We standing with her. Those of us who are smart and intelligent. Those of us who understand what it is to be in an environment where you're relaxed and you could sit down and keep your windows open and your door, and you don't have to put a burglar proof all about. We want to live that freedom life. We don't have security officers around us, but we want to be able to enjoy the fresh air, not to be closed up and have a set of air condition, drying up your beautiful skin. Come on, we want that to change. And our Prime Minister is doing everything in her power to change what is taking place in this country that has become what it is by the PNM. And the PNM, who was supposed to work for us as Africans, because they say the face is African, but we didn't benefit. Very few African people benefit. And how much they benefit? To talk a pack of lies. How much did they benefit? Benefit is not just bringing money in your pocket, a few $1,000s in your pocket. You must leave, you must have a legacy, you must have business. How much of you all have business under the PNM? You know what they did? They strike off all your business in Ministry of Legal Affairs. Listen, some of you all as African real stupid, you know. I'm not saying all, but a lot, because I'm African descent. I'm mixed, yes, but you all are really stupid, you know. Some of you Africans really, really dumb. You have allowed the PNM, the propaganda national party, to make you all fools for them. There was a song I used to sing, I don't mind being a fool for Jesus, but they have allowed you all to make yourself fools for them with no benefit. Absolutely no benefit. The benefit is to lose, allow your children to lose their life at a very young age because it's only criminal activity. And that's a major thing. Right now, we have investors wanting to come into this country because the wind of change is coming because of our Prime Minister and her team. You all can't see that. Forget the stupidness about race. Stop listening to all your stupid leaders. They don't care about you all. You remember what Dr. Keith Rowley said? He don't mind the rich getting richer so that the poor could do what? Survive. All you must only survive. The rich could get richer for all you to survive because all you getting nothing else. Under the UNC government, the rich will get richer, but the poor will become rich too, because policies are being put in place. If you have any kind of ambition, you're going to put yourself in place to get things to make your life better. Our Prime Minister is doing everything in her power for everybody. So know this, if you are a law-abiding citizen, life is going to get better. If you are not a law-abiding citizen, get your act together, or else you wouldn't face it easy. She is not making any joke. She insists on doing what is right for our citizens. And I don't have a problem with who want to say what, because the African people are always so shameless. You always want to talk about we who align ourselves with the UNC as the Indian-based government. You want to say this and say that. But we benefit. Here how we benefit. We are able to work honestly. We are able to earn $1 because we want to live honestly, not with having bling bling around our necks, a set of gold chain and this, and money that is blood money. No, you must be given the opportunity to work for an honest dollar. And if you do it with integrity, you're going to reach somewhere. If you learn how to manage your money, you're going to reach somewhere. Some of us, all we want it quick and fast. And that is why all you're getting killed. That is why all you're siding with the PNM. And all you're losing all your life fast. Because the PNM has fooled, the leadership of the PNM has fooled you all as African citizens. It's time for all you to wake up. It's time for all you to open all your eyes and ears and see, smell the coffee. Smell it good, because under the UNC government, things are changing. Not for the worse, for the better. So for those of you who want to talk about this UNC government is the worst, and I thought this and all this too damn lazy. What all they thought? Our prime minister would bring money and drop it on all your lap. All you wanted her to bring money down from heaven like manna. No, you have to work. She's putting policies in place. She's putting things in place. Did you all heard about the land for the landless? I played it last week. Let's play that clip again, producer.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago presents the Land for the Landless program to be administered by the Land Settlement Agency under the umbrella of the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs. This program was created to empower low and middle income citizens, state employees, and recent tertiary graduates by providing a pathway to residential land at a subsidized cost. Successful beneficiaries will receive a long-term lease of 199 years. This program is being implemented on a phased basis, and you will be informed of all available sites for allocation during the rollout of each phase. You are invited to submit a single or joint application form. To qualify, applicants must be 18 years and older, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, not be owners or part owners of land or property in Trinidad and Tobago, have a combined monthly income of no more than $30,000. This excludes senior citizens' pension and national insurance scheme grants, and not be recipients of any government or state housing subsidies. Applications must be submitted online via the Land Settlement Agency's website or mobile app during a specified application period. This will be advertised across all Land Settlement Agency's social media platforms. An application guide will be made available to assist you in completing the application form. To complete the application, applicants will need the following mandatory documents: computerized birth certificate, national identification card, a recent job letter, and where necessary, a tertiary level certificate. On the application form, you will be required to select an appropriate application category. You will be given the opportunity to choose 2 preferred locations. Applicants must have a valid email address and contact information. Once you have submitted a successful application, you will be emailed a digital receipt containing a unique reference number. Incomplete applications will not be accepted. For applicants who require assistance, regional application hubs will be made available at convenient locations throughout Trinidad. Look out for further details on all social media platforms. The Land for the Landless program, a pathway to home ownership. Secure land, secured future.
Great opportunity. So here you have it. Under the PNM, were they studying to give you land? You know who was getting the land under the PNM? The 1%. Everywhere you turn, they were grabbing the lands. Yeah? But here you have ordinary citizens having the opportunity to be able to own land. That is a caring government, all right? And if you all can see that, well, I am almost certain half of you will not even apply. I'm talking about the African people. You want to talk about race? Because a lot of you all, it's like you're all senseless. Some of you may not even, I don't know. First thing you're going to hear is that it's only the Indians getting the land. If they apply for it, they're going to get it. If you're not applying for it as an African, how on God's earth you're supposed to get it? So you have an opportunity to apply, right? Go and apply to get land so that you can have something. When you have land, you have wealth. Even the Bible talks about that, right? Then you have the Petrotrin getting ready to be open. I don't know what again we're supposed to be doing. Then also you have land distribution in Tobago?
Mr. Speaker, what we are doing here today is ensuring that we put this matter squarely within the remit of the THA, so therefore that the regularization of this particular piece of land can in fact happen in very short order. But I must tell you, Mr. Speaker, what is disheartening about this entire situation is when the previous government started the relocation of persons for the airport expansion, they were in fact relocating Tobagonians on this particular piece of land that is being acquired, and they did not have the proper title for it. We are here right now through a legal process trying to vest the legal title of this land from the Tobago Race Club into the state. So they were putting people in lands that they did not have title for. That they didn't have title for. And I'm hearing my friend from Trinity Maloney said that they started the process. Mr. Speaker, do you know when I checked the file, Mr. Speaker, on this particular matter? There were cabinet notes drafted since 2015 and it never saw the cabinet. So when you come to tell us that you all started it, it took a UNC administration to finish it.
Minister of Legal Affairs.
Yes. Well, you take that. They're always quick to say that they started it. Everything that the UNC has completed, they started with. Somebody had to start it and somebody will finish it. And it takes a UNC government to finish it, complete it, and give the people their title. Everything that the PNM do is always corrupted. Is always some kind of fraudulent behavior. Right? You started it. Yes, many things they just start. But when do they ever complete it? It has to go through a process where pockets could get full before it could be completed. You heard what the Minister Saddam said? Since 2015, because the clown on the other side wanted to talk, but it is them who started it. It's the same thing with the Minister of Trade talking about straight flight from Ghana to Trinidad. They started it. They always start everything, but they never complete it because it has to be a corrupted situation. And it have much more of what he is saying. Much more. I don't think we have the time to play everything, but Hadassa, what are your thoughts on some of these things? The PNM always starts something, but do they ever finish it? Do they ever get the right citizens to benefit?
They never finish it. And I always used to think about that, the fact that they will treat the land in the country as though it did not belong to everybody. And they treated it like this very elite thing. And they only gave it to people who already had money to enlarge on their empires and to build more malls, etc., 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 which by itself, nothing is wrong with that because these things become part of our economy and whatnot. But they did not have a care about making sure that farmers who wanted to have land so that they could grow crops and whatnot that will benefit our food basket. That was never on their agenda. They never thought about giving young people land so that they can build homes and they can establish families. Never on their agenda. And they like to claim all these things and say that they started it because they understand that these are good policies that resonate with people. So they want to take the credit for it, even though they don't actually do it. And that is just the legacy of the PNM, right? They like to say that they started this and they started that. And if you look at our country over the last couple of years, they built a lot of things. But I understand that that was the easiest way for them to move wealth and to distribute wealth and move it from the treasury and give it to contractors and friends and financiers and whatnot. So yeah, they built a lot of buildings and there were a lot of cost overruns and there was a lot of corruption. Even Rowley himself was embroiled in corruption when he was back in the day the minister of housing, and that whole controversy in Tobago. That is what they have always done. Their priority has never been the people first. So that is why they could build an airport and they want to claim that in Tobago, but then they have no care for the people who were rightfully on that land to make sure that these people have titles and deeds to the land to where they move them. So that any Monday morning somebody could come and move these people again, and they would be without any home, and they would be without any type of legal redress, because that is how the PNM operates. They don't care about people. It is a very, very callous party. And people like to talk about the fact that, oh, it's supposed to be a black party and whatnot. It is not. It is not. A lot of their members who were founding members who helped um, finance the party and whatnot, they were stabbed in the back, right? And that was done to make way for a different type of businessman with a different hue of skin, right? So let us not get it twisted, right? Let's not get it twisted.
Definitely, we can't get it twisted. The People's National Movement and their leadership is not about people. Maybe they should change the name from People's National Movement to Corruption National Movement, because everything they do always
Propaganda.
have a corrupted line in it. Okay? You move the people to talk about putting down the airport as though there were no other space. All right, you have to do that. You put people in place, like you rightfully said. There is no title attached. So anybody at any point in time could come. When you feel you have something and you're settled, you don't have a title. All right, for the land, for wherever they put you. This is what the PNM does. So let's change. Let's call them the corrupted national movement. That is what everything they put their hands to is always a heap of corruption. And a lot of people just get vexed when I talk about these things. But these are the facts. They don't care about the people. You're going to Tobago to interfere with Tobago people. You understand? Move the people. And you know what? You can't fight them, you know. You can't fight them. They had to move. But do what is honorable for the people, now, man. No, it take a UNC government to come and fix the crap that they have done, the corruption that they have
Yeah.
put in place. And now the people can see some light. They can feel comfortable and breathe again. Because I'm
Yes.
sure that was
Yes.
having people uncomfortable, not knowing where they stand, not being able to probably go
Yeah.
to the bank and take a mortgage or do something. It takes a UNC government to put things in place
Yes.
and give people title for their property, for their deed.
And that is why they lost 15-0. That is why, because there's all those things. And the difference between Tobagonians and Trinbagonians is, and sorry, and Trinidadians, is that Tobagonians don't take nonsense. As soon as Tobagonians figure out who you are, they was like, okay, we're not messing with this anymore. And they were very, very vocal with their vote in saying, we do not want the PNM anymore, because the PNM has not been good for us. The PNM has lied to us, has deceived us, has made us impoverished, has made sure that we had no jobs or any opportunities. And Tobagonians were like, but Trinidadians is a different kettle of fish. And you know, I was thinking, Esther, that a lot of people are going to start crying more, because they will say everything that the prime minister does will seem racially motivated, because the PNM has set up the country in a way that when you start to unearth corruption in CPEP, in URP, in National Forestry, the pawns in these organizations, the people who have been tricked into believing that that is somehow a good gig, those people always manage to be PNM supporters who just happen to be Afro Trinbagonians, right? And
And
if going back to the independent senators, sorry, just let's give me one sec. And if they cared about crime, those independent senators who apparently allegedly their votes are being sold to the highest bidder, but I digress, right? If they cared about it, they would have been calling for consultation. They would have been making suggestions. They would not have struck down the first initiative that came to put salve, to put balm on an issue in these communities that is plaguing those communities that are riddled with crime, right? But the PNM is very comfortable with black bodies on the street, because it's not white people, it's not Syrian, it's not Chinese, and to a much less extent, it is not Indian bodies. But once it's black bodies, they seem like it's okay, right? That is why one of our senators had to call out the hypocrisy of Trinidadians when George Floyd died, and when they were in front of the US Embassy protesting. And he was like, when did Black Lives Matter in Trinidad and Tobago? You can't be protesting an issue that is in the United States when you do not see how Black people in Trinidad are so badly disenfranchised, so badly treated, and left out of the opportunities to, get economic wealth and prosperity and things like that. And I feel sorry for people who are going to be crying on social media or about Kamla this and Kamla that, because they lost their CPAP job. Because what the PNM did is the PNM made their world so small by giving them a CPAP job that once you remove that, everything comes tumbling down. And that is such a sad, sad, sad state, because your reality has just been this job, when what the PNM needed to do was to invest in people's creativity and their intelligence and whatnot, which is what the UNC is seeking to do now. But they will not understand it because they get so accustomed to the whole, I don't know, handout mentality. And the PNM has been at the helm for 50 years doing this to our people. And it has literally changed their mind. It has changed how they think about things. Right? So there they're gonna say they're feeling betrayed and whatnot and whatnot. But like I say, who vex lost? Who vex lost? We are now under an administration that cares about improving the livelihood of everybody. Philip used to say, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? About creating a country where everybody could live good, where everybody could get a piece of land and they could get a home and they could get a good job and everybody could look nice. We don't need to have communities like Belmont and those areas, right, riddled with crime so that other communities should flourish. That should not be the case. Okay, I'll go on and on, so I'll stop it now. But I just wanted to make that point.
You didn't have to stop because you're making sense, and it is the facts, all right? It is the facts, and they don't like to hear it. And you said something there that I wanted to respond to. The PNM has allowed the African people not to be educated by giving them CPEP, URP. They just put them in a box and say, look, this is good for you
Yeah.
all, right? So when that is taken away from them, when it's taken away from them, to make better for them, they can't see that. All they see
No.
now, because the PNM encourages it, is a racist thing. She's an Indian and
it's
she
a
comes to
betrayal.
take away bread
Yeah.
from our mouth as African. But what
Yes.
she's really trying to do
Yes.
is help you all African to become more
Yes.
efficient, that you're not boxed
Yes.
in to a CPEP 2 weeks and off and on. Just imagine for 10 years, you have people working CPEP. It's supposed to be a relief program, something that
Yeah.
takes you to a particular position and you educate yourself, do what you have to do and get out from there, move on to something better. But no, the PNM has have them exactly where they want them. So, you can't go any further. You have to continue to depend upon them and the CPEP work, and however they want to have you, they want to victimize you, if they feel they get vexed with you because you didn't come out to their party meeting, no job, no job for you in the CPEP for the next 6
Yeah.
months. That is what the PNM has done to their own African people. And the UNC government, and they want to talk race, let's talk race. Because the UNC government, whose base is of Indian descent, they are trying to help the very African people who the PNM has put in a box and have
left
you all like
behind.
clowns and fools,
Yes.
where you can't go forward. You can't get a loan. You can't build a good house. You're not educated. So
Yes.
even now with programs that is coming on board, a lot of them can't get through. Why? You're not educated. All you know is a CPEP and a URP job. You all can't see the light that is coming for you all. Our Prime Minister is trying to empower the African community by doing what she's doing, because CPEP and URP, they want to say, this is what the propaganda National Party is saying, She taking away food from all your mouth. She ain't care about all you. She ain't care about the African. Them Indian ain't care about the African. But it's because of her care for the African race. She is putting things in place. She dismantled that corrupted URP CPEP program to give you all something more substantial, something that you can put things in place for your children and your grandchildren, not to be begging. This is a typical example when the CPEP and the URP going to have nothing. They're crying they're crying out for murder because they have nothing. There is no legacy in that.
No.
And they cannot see it. And they will never understand it because they're not even educated. The PNM wanted to have them just where they are. Thousands of them, so they could get their vote. You understand? And we have to show them that this is going to be better for you, for your children, because watch me, a lot of them who have been in there, in the CPEP and URP, the children come and go in the same place. Same CPEP and URP. So what it is a change for better. This Prime Minister, this Honorable Prime Minister wants you all to have better. When she talk about grass cutting, they all went up in flames, you understand? Because all is grass cutter, but that's what PNM has created, a set of grass cutter and drain cleaners and road sweepers. That is what the PNM has created, and you all don't see it. She wants you all to be better. Yes, the grass have to cut, so we'll be cutting grass, but in a different dimension where you're doing something, but you're not going to remain there for the next 5, 10, 15 years. You're going to move on. So others who would come and they keep moving. It's a cycle. You're moving on. You're not staying there. You are in a position you can get a loan to buy land or to buy house, build house, educate yourself. They're not seeing that because the PNM would not allow them to see it. The PNM just pushing the race thing as though, you know, the Indian woman don't want the Africans to have nothing. But that is so far from the truth. She's actually doing this for you all as Africans. She's not taking away anything from you. But of course, it has to be redone because of the corruption, because of what they call it, the ghosts, a set of ghosts. All you like seeing ghosts, you can't see ghosts in any way. A ghost is a ghost. Let something be real for you all. And until they open their understanding and somebody tell them the truth, they will continue to be arguing for no good reason, because the PNM wants the African people to stay right where they are. The PNM want you all to stay there.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, I guess I'm on now. I was really just thinking that what
So
Kamala
before
Prasad
you go
says is
there, you know,
actually
somebody
doing.
put a comment, what is wrong with grass cutting? You see, they still didn't get it. They still didn't get it. And I'm almost certain it's a stupid African person who would have put that statement. What is wrong with grass cutting? Well, if you want to cut grass for the rest of your life, so be it. Go right ahead. Then you should come off the show, you know. Don't bother to put no comment, because you're already determined that you will continue to be a clown foolishly for the rest of your life. What is wrong? Nothing is wrong. You have to cut the grass. But you want to cut that for the rest of your life? You clown.
Yeah.
They
And to
they
that
are
point,
settled and happy to be a grass cutter.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
I mean, by itself, nothing is wrong with it in essence. It is a noble profession, it is honest work. But you could be more. You don't have to be just a grass cupper. You could actually have a landscaping business. You could be
Right.
supplying a service to other people. And this is what I was thinking, that Kamala Prasad Bisasa is quietly asking the question, do you want more? Do you want better for yourself? And then she's asking us to be patient, and she's asking us to trust her, right? All the PNM has ever promised those people was $500 in a red jersey come election time and a CPEP job. No future, no legacy, nothing to pass on to your children, right? So we now have generations of Afro Trinbagonians with nothing to show for their life here in this country, right? While everybody else is surpassing us, right? They're making sure that their children study abroad and achieve all these things, right? And I mean, everybody have different ways of defining happiness. It does not always necessarily have to be about material gain. But oh my goodness, the wealth that this country once had. Everybody in Trinidad should be living good, should be living nice. Nobody should have to pick up a gun or pick up a knife in order to live. That is the point.
You know, I'm thinking as you saying that, reading that comment, nothing is wrong with being a grass cutter. Be a certified grass cutter. Be one that you have some pride in. And like you said, develop a landscaping company. Have your children involved. Nothing is wrong, but is the mentality of these people, what is wrong with being a grass cutter? I cut grass before.
Yeah.
I know how to use a whacker. I can do that. But you think I wanted to stay there, even if, let's leave that alone, because I'll go down a road that they may not want to hear what I have to say. But I've cut grass before, but I never intended. I did it so that I can empower myself even greater. And that has been years ago. My daughters, my children would have cut grass too. They know how to use a whacker. You understand? But we didn't stay there. And that's the whole point. Nothing is wrong with being that. But being a grass cutter for a fortnight in, a fortnight out, that's not what you want. If that is what you want, continue to be that. That's okay, like I said at the start, everybody is entitled to their opinion. Everybody is entitled to do what they feel to do. Even our Prime Minister say, all they're entitled to burn down the place and to mash up, but there are consequences for everybody's action. So if you want to mash up the place, you want to commit your crime, go ahead. It's your entitlement. But just know there are consequences once you break the laws, right? And burning down a place, having guns and committing crime, there are consequences. But go right ahead. All you be foolish, be uneducated, and go ahead and do what you want to do. There are consequences. When you educate yourself, when you align yourself with the law, there are consequences for that as well. Yeah? So they can say what they want to say and do what they want to do. But it is just amazing how these people operate and how they think. So, I am hoping that some people would see the light and change their mindset. I'm really hoping, especially the African community, because whether we like it or not, it is the African community that's going down the drain. You know why? The PNM have it like that. The PNM who preach and say that they're for the African people, they are the ones have them in the box that they wanted them to be in, so that they can do whatever, and they look up to them and say, yes, throw this shit in my mouth, we go swallow it. Right? That is what they do. But the UNC government is trying to tell you all, you don't have to suck up the PNM shit. You can release yourself from that, empower yourself, and move forward, have a better life. Right? Save your children from getting gunned down. Save your grandchildren from being used. Save your girl children from being used by those PNM nasty, who want to abuse them to get a job, who want to get between what God gave them, where the sun don't shine, so that they could get a job. I know about it because many of these young women will talk about it to me. I can't call nobody's name, but it is the fact that is how the propaganda National Party want to have the black people. But under our UNC government, under our Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, SCMP, I am telling you, she don't want that for us. She wants you all to have the same opportunity as the Indian brothers and sisters, the Indian children. That is what she wants. And if you all can't see that, well, too bad. Go where it have nobody living there. All right? Go there. Because that's what the PNM is about. It have nobody living there. Nobody lives there. So you can go there. If you don't want freedom from the cultish behavior of the PNM, go where nobody lives. That's all right. But Hadassa, there is so much more, but we have to come to an end. Our time is gone. And until next week, Tuesday, we're going to be back here, same time, to empower those of you who wants to be empowered. For those of you who want to talk crap and put your stupid comment, you can continue to do that. We're not going to stop you. We wouldn't even block you. Continue, because you're senseless in any case.
Yeah, because they have every right to leave a stupid comment, and we have every right to call it a stupid comment.
That's
I think
right.
we even.
That's what you call democracy. All right? And of course, don't forget to join me on Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m., where I talk kingdom. Yeah, this is politics and certain things that is happening in our society. But I also talk about kingdom, where you are supposed to be as an individual, as a citizen of the kingdom of God, not a citizen of foolishness. And I call out righteousness, I call out truth, even those leaders, pastors, bishops, apostles, who also want to keep some of their people in bondage and not want them to be free. Because what I talk about on a Sunday is knowing the truth, because the truth will set you free. I thank God I'm free. Nobody can hold me down. And even if you kill this body, you can't kill my spirit. It goes back to God. So if you don't like hearing me, Some people will say, I don't like to hear her. That's okay. It's okay that you don't like to hear me. If you don't like hearing me, don't come on my program. Go somewhere else. All right? You don't have to tune in, because I am speaking what I believe and what I know is truth on a Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join me on Sunday and let's talk truth, for truth is going to set us free. Have a wonderful night, people, all my viewers. I love you all. Every one of you I love. Have a wonderful week ahead. Go ahead and do what you think is right for you. Continue to be a law-abiding citizen. And if you have been breaking the law, please stop it. Stop it and line up with the reality of being a law-abiding citizen. To my wonderful Prime Minister, good night to you. I love you. And to the ministers who are doing excellent for our citizens, please continue. We love you and we continue to encourage you. And you are blessed in Jesus' name. Goodbye.